These indictments and charges bringing hope to parents who continue to fight for justice for their children. I do want to bring in Linda Clary, the mother of John Umberger. Linda, I so appreciate you speaking with us again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for caring and being part of this story.
Thank you, Linda. And I just want to say, as we start, I will never forget our interview where you described your experience as a mother, being told that John's death was simply an overdose initially, and you were so certain in your gut that there was more to it. And you actually shared with us, you traveled to New York, you retraced his steps, you put the pieces together, and you demanded to speak with a detective. You sat in that lobby for 2.5 hours, and finally the investigator agreed to meet with you. I will never forget that. How are you doing now? Is this development finally a step towards justice in your eyes?
I believe it is. It is a huge step, because just the affirmation, even though it took 9 months for the medical examiner to finally change pending further study for cause of death to homicide and listing the drugs found in John's system, affirmed that what I knew and what John's friends and family knew all along. And then now that the DA's office has issued arrest warrants for those involved, we are a step closer. And there are over 30 counts of grand larceny for those involved. And there are multiple rings around New York City doing this. It's not just one ring.
Right.
And the numbers are escalating.
I appreciate that. And you highlighting that it is not just an isolated case. Can you speak a little bit more to that? What do you want other parents and other people to know about how anyone can become a victim of this?
Well, number one, you don't want to ever be alone. That's one of the things with the victims, is that they find themselves, for whatever reasons, briefly alone. And these groups are literally like hyenas searching out prey to devour. And that's what they do. And they find a weak link, and they are busy casing to find weak links. And that's what they do. So very important to never be alone. Remove any concept of facial ID recognition to break into passwords and things like that. Go back to old school. And also, when you see something at a bar or a club that looks off, or, you complete strangers being gregarious and friendly, the reality is there are bad people out there, and we don't like to think that, but there are. And we have to be vigilant and stay together as a community and look after one another.
Absolutely. And Linda, one more question for you. What would you want the world, what do you want us to know and remember about your son, John?
That John was a bright light, and he was a gift from God, and that everyone is that way, and that in carrying on John's legacy, we don't want other people to hurt like we have hurt. And we want people to speak out and maybe push themselves out of their comfort zone, because that's what John did to himself. And that's what he called on all of us to do in order to live our best life.
And what an incredible legacy he leaves, even through you alone. Linda Clary, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much.